So I want to talk about something really fun. Pseudoscience. Um, it's like science that's not real, like imaginary science. And nobody really studies pseudoscience because it's not practical. It's like not a thing in real life. You know what I mean? It doesn't make money, so people don't study it. And that's really sad. I think that's really, really sad because it's really interesting. And, eventually it could lead to something practical. It really could. So I had, I'm not sure if I told you this, but I swear, like, I was at work one day and you just, all of a sudden, I just hear copper hitting the floor. And I turn around and there's just a penny on the floor. And I didn't have any change in my pocket and there wasn't anybody around. So it's like this penny just had no business being there. Um, so like that was really, really odd. But it like gave me this spark, like what would it take to change air molecules into um um copper alloy, which is what pennies are made of. And in theory it's possible because you just have to rearrange the subatomic particles. It just takes a lot of energy, like a lot of energy. That's why people don't study these things. It's because it's not practical at all. um, Alchemy basically is what I'm talking about. Is what would it take to change air into copper alloy? And it's really interesting. Like you can calculate this stuff too. You really could. In theory, you could calculate how much energy it would take to change a single. Oh, well, you still have to follow the laws of physics. It's not, it's real. Like, this is a physical thing that you could do. It just takes a lot of energy. Um, so you still have to follow the laws of physics, laws of conservation. So, like, let's look it up. Copper alloy. What's a copper alloy? Copper alloy. And then air molecules, O2, obviously. And it can also be extremely dangerous. Extremely dangerous. Like, it's not necessarily, maybe it takes a lot of energy for a reason. Like, it can be dangerous to living things. It can mess with a lot of things if you don't do it right. It can blow things up. You could blow something up. Like a nuclear explosion blows something up. Copper alloys are metal alloys that have copper as their principal component. They have high resistance against corrosion. The best known traditional types are bronze, where tin is a significant addition, and brass. Bronze. So you need to turn air into copper, bronze, tin, brass, and zinc. So you need a lot of air molecules to, oh my God, a whole penny, a whole penny. That's crazy. Anyway, um, so you need to follow conservation laws. All of the subatomic particles have to go somewhere. You need to have the right amount of air molecules to rearrange it all around and change it into this penny. And you could, in theory, have leftover particles. You could have leftover protons. And what do you do with this leftover proton? And protons are what radiation is. That's what radiation is flying protons. And protons are very dense. They're very heavy, and you don't want flying protons around. They will damage your DNA. They will damage your body. Um, because they're super dense, specifically because they're small and dense. They could theoretically pass right through you, but that's not likely. So like you could have extra particles running around, you could have extra electrons, you could have extra quarks. Like, what do I do with this leftover stuff? It's just flying around. See what I mean? It could be very dangerous. It could be very irresponsible. You have to have respect for it. And there's a reason why it takes so much energy to do things like this. The energy that we just don't have, and hopefully we'll never have. But you can still do the calculations. It's just for fun. Like, I have a lot of fun doing it. I mean, it's always been. I mean, Jesus turned water to wine, and I always saw that as like alchemy. And then people have always been trying to like turn like lead into gold or something like that. And it really is possible. You just have to have the correct amount of energy. And then there's also the thing where you have to have, because with every reaction, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So you have to be able to mitigate the energy that these changing subatomic particles are going to release. You have to prevent nuclear explosion. This is a lot of fun. I'm having so much fun. So that was the first way the penny got there, was alchemy, pure alchemy, changing the air molecules and the nitrogen molecules and the blah, 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 blah into copper. Or it literally just appeared from nowhere and just was like, what? Where did that come from? And that's interesting because that would displace air molecules and it would change the environment. Kind of like how if you were able to stick your arm through the wall, it would cause a lot of weird things because the molecules are going to move. It's going to make the wall like, well, I don't really know how. It's going to make the wall break. It's going to break the wall. Maybe punching through walls is phasing through objects. No, it's not. It's definitely not. So like how would I, if I were to phase through an object, how would I do it in such a way where it wouldn't displace any objects? Weird. Oh, I had a thought and it's gone now. It's like science, laws. There are laws we have to follow, and it's just the way it is. And you don't just change things and not have consequences. You know what I mean? And consequences don't always have to be bad. Consequences can be good. What other kinds of pseudoscience are there? I got keep hearing ferric acid in my head. And ferric acid is not a real thing. I looked it up and it's a hypothetical acid. So like, why am I hearing this in my head? Pseudoscience. I need to, and in order to practice pseudoscience, you have to master real science. You have to master organic chemistry in order to study the pseudoscience that I want to study. And I'm going to be the only one who's doing it because everybody's just worried about cash. And that makes me really happy because I don't want people's help. If you want it done right, you got to do it yourself. I'm like really anal about some things. It can be annoying. I know that. So sorry. Let's see. Let's look up pseudoscience. Pseudoscience. A collection of beliefs or practices mistakenly regarded as being based on the scientific method. Oh, pff. Wow, that's the stupidest definition I've ever heard. That totally just shut down everything I just said. Fuck you. See, I told you, people don't do this because it's not practical. They think it's not real. They think it's not a thing that you can do, but it is. It is definitely a thing you could do, and you can, in theory, calculate what it would take to do these things. It would just be really, 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 really huge numbers, and people can't comprehend really huge numbers. They look at a gigantic number and they just regress to infinity, and that is a terrible, terrible fallacy. You don't want to do that because a finite quantity is not the same as an infinite quantity. It's because people are stupid. Most people are stupid. No, 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 no. People aren't stupid. The system is stupid. Apparently, I have the definition of pseudoscience wrong, or people are just dumb. Man, this is crazy. And I would have never thought of that idea had that not happened. Ever. I would have never thought of that. So thank you. Thank you for breaking reality. It's really weird. It's really odd. It's supposed to be odd. That's why it's odd. I had something else I want to say. It's there and I can't get it. Where is it? So, alchemy is real and it is something that you can do. Keep that in mind. Open your minds, expand your minds. I am a scientist. Do not argue with me. All right, good. Glad we established that. I will see ya.